Hello, I'm Zhangzhen Huang. This is Group 17. We will talk about the global environment for clothing industry. Xiaopeng Li will talk about the key features of the clothing industry, and Chang Liu will identify the challenges that clothing companies are facing. Then Chun Ki Ho will develop strategies to help multinational clothing companies to face the challenges. In final, Shutong Liu will explain how these strategies can help multinational companies, and I will summarize the whole presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Xiaopeng Li. Here I'd like to talk about the key features of the clothing industry. The first is highly global. China's share in the clothing export market has declined, but it's still the number one export country. It's down 0.4% from 2017. It's worth noting that Vietnam and Bangladesh clothing exports increased by 30.4% and 11.1% respectively, showing a trend of rapid growth. In 2019, we can see that China is still a major exporter, but in 2019, it reflects the impacts of China's reduced purchase by clothing companies. China, the EU, Bangladesh, and Vietnam remain firmly in the top four. The four countries together account for 71.4% of the global market share. Therefore, from this data, it can be concluded that Vietnam and Bangladesh have grown the fastest in the clothing industry in recent years, while the top exporting country, China, is showing a downward trend. In this volatile data, the competitive environment in this industry has become increasingly fierce. China, the EU, Bangladesh, and Vietnam are the major players in the global clothing industry. The second is small markets. From the from the perspective of brands in the clothing industry, the market size is small. Nike, as the world's most well-known sports brand, only accounts for 2.8% of the market share. The clothing market is highly fragmented, so it's very competitive and saturated. Finally, the labor-intensive industries, mainly assembly line production method, needs to allocate uh, mul- multiple workers to produce in many processes. From this figure, we can see that the country with a minimum month's wage of workers in Ethiopia, which is $26. Turkey is the highest at the $340. It can be seen from these low-wage countries that the labor cost of the industry accounts for a larger proportion, while the material cost accounts for a smaller proportion.
Thank you, Shopper. Hello, everyone. My name is Chang Liu. Next, I would like to introduce to you the challenge faced to multinational companies. The first question about challenge for apparel companies around the world. China is government export making share is decreasing, while some countries government export making share is increasing. This data indicates that more and more countries are establishing government companies at the time. The profit of foreign products will naturally decrease. The second question about cost of raw material. Some government production raw material are restricted by regions, and the procurement of raw materials is one of biggest challenge faced by multi companies. Not only has the cost of being increased for a long time, but the cost of covering and process the raw material need to make new fabrics. And designing lines has been running unless we have the skills to design material and growing more efficiently. The current cost of correct raw material will future childs the fictional interest. The second question about the types of production line. The government industry is production intensive, which is mainly a production line. More than one worker is assigned to make it many processes. A lot of girls are handmade, so the quality of products is greater influenced by individual. When workers are affected by salary or some object factors, it will directly affect the quality of product itself. The last question about transportation. The regarding cost of airline and gasoline means the annual cost of transportation raw material to factories and finished product to consumer making is within the growing need to keep logistics within limits and to keep it finished process design in line with making process has become a challenge of all brands in the fashion industry, regardless of their current market. Thank you.
Clothing industry is labor-intensive industry, which means it has lower barrier for competitors to enter. In order to address problems associated with traps of new entrants, the MNCs should focus more on the end customers to maintain competitive. Consumers have a lot of to choose when they enter a shopping mall. Therefore, clothing companies should offer consumers a positive experience when they shop at store. As for the problems of increasing cost of raw material, report from Alan MacArthur Foundation proposed a new economy, a four-step approach to address challenges in increasing cost of raw material. Phase out substance of concern a microfiber release, increased clothing utilization, improve recycle, and make effective use of resource and move to new renewable inputs. To reduce influence of human in production line, it is suggested that MNCs can invest heavily in machines and robots to realize the automation in whole production lines so that human inequality problems can be decreased. The transportation problem in clothing industry due to increased cost of oil and human resources is the supply chain management challenge for MNCs in fashion industry. There are two strategies proposed: lean supply chain management and agile supply chain management. Lean SCs focus on upstream, while agile SC focus on downstream. In lean SC management, NMCs adopt zero in factory and just-in-time method to reduce cost and minimize waste. In Agile SC management, MNC adopt immediate response to urgent delivers and order fulfillment ways. All in all, no matter what challenge MNC face, the best strategy for MNC is clothing industry to adopt is to maintain the quality of product while minimize cost and meet customer satisfaction.
Address challenges in clothing industry. The first challenge is intense competition from apparel companies around the world, because clothing industry sets low barriers to new entrants. To deal with the global competition, multinational companies turned to adopt differentiation strategy related to demographic factor and the lifestyle presentation of their target audience. For example, Burberry devotes greatly to classical British style. In this way, many young elites choose to wear formal suits of the brand to show their social status and their passion to respect for the land. Such positioning is unique and hard to be imitated by other brands from different countries, so that Burberry can win a great number of the loyal consumers. And another example is that Jake wears chases after preppy style that target at students. This brand grasps demographic critical of the potential buyers, so many students from various universities or other schools will be attracted by its products. This is a differentiated from those brands who target a general public, and not merely the student group. And secondly, clothing companies also face high cost of the purchasing raw materials. A strategy is to brand a slow relationship with reliable suppliers, so that procurement cost can be minimized by laying hard order with the same suppliers. At almost all top brands have a strict requirement to select suppliers of the raw materials in their relationship network. Meanwhile, suppliers are all ready to provide the lowest price to keep such relationship. For example, Carrie Mellon is a fashion brand that UK Queen even wear. The brand has a strong power to bargain with any supplier they bet from. But once a raw material company wins trust, they don't change the supplier easily to avoid financial risk. Secondly, the challenge the secondly, the challenge of the production lines can be managed providing higher rewards for those people who perform well. As clothing industry is a global intensive, hard work quality are directly affect the final product of each factory. This is common strategy for clothing company. It is because each brand need a hard number of experienced workers, especially when there are great product demand with a short period. A multinational company might provide additional bonds for those hard-working people. Another strategy for about the challenge is improving the level of the machine automation on product line. For example, Uniqlo depends on auto robots to sort out T-shirts on their production line. This avoids some possible mistake made by human workers when they feel tired. As a result, the clothes have a consistent quality and reduce the complaints from global buyers. At least the transportation issues. Derive from, for example, oil and petroleum costs. This challenge is solved by the strategy of the outsourcing clothing transportation to professional resources. A traffic example is Max Spencer. The supermarket built highly infection sorters to transport all product on sale, surely including clothes, brands from the various multinational companies. As long as the company signs outsourcing contract with the shopping mall, they need not to spend any extra money on spending products to various Marks Spencer outlines. These clothes provide just a week to get a share of the profit from sales. That's all.
Thank you, Liu. Thank you, everybody. This presentation focuses on 4 important issues that we consider: business competition, cost of raw materials, quality control of products, and the cost of transportation. We believe that businesses should focus on sales, reduce material costs through cooperation with suppliers, ensure good quality of products through mechanized and automated equipment, and save transportation costs by outsourcing transportation to professional logistics companies. There are still some factors that cannot be ignored that we have not studied, such as the pricing and the design of clothing, which also have a great impact on the clothing industry. But that's because we analyze entire industries, but not individual companies. So I think our study is quite comprehensive. People buy clothing for wearing. We analyze this from the academic angle. But for clothing industry, how to consider the needs of their customers, make customers want to wear their clothes is the key to help clothing company. Advance the search ability for psychological and aesthetic of different customers should be the clothing company's central strategy. Thank you.